Hi, welcome back to a brand new video of the Target Individual program, Target Individual Experience. I started to do this video, and about a few minutes into it, I got a text that showed up on the screen that I didn't really want to upload, that video. So I had to restart the video again because, again, I've been calling this person throughout the day, but immediately as I sit down to do this video, I get a text, right, and it showed up on the screen. So I didn't really want to, you know, finish the video. So I said, let me start over. But anyhow, what we're going to see is from the Chris Hedges YouTube channel. It's called Virtue Hoarders and Rejection of Liberalism with Catherine Liu. And she wrote a book, and in her book she talks about how the elites, the liberal billionaire class, the liberal educators or so-called intellectual, in how they have created this uh, class warfare and gender warfare within working class people and poor people. Okay, and I talked about this all the time. We as TIs, how we're victimized, we're targeted, because again, we are the distraction in order to get people and to unite people into destroying our lives. But meanwhile, their attention is moved away from their own suffering, their own oppression, their own the degradation of of life, quality of life. But they get joy, particularly using the religious base and their believers, with targeting us and doing these things, engaging in covert warfare and all of this stuff. And one of the things that they try to do with us as TIs, again, is to create this idea that that we're hypersexual and all this stuff, right? Meanwhile, the billionaires and millionaire class, these are the most hypersexual, sexual deviant group of people in the world. Okay, I want you to listen to this.
Strangely enough, this kind of logic is part of the logic of the counterculture, where it believed that it had invented new forms of sexual relation designed to tread the edges of what was humanly permissible. The most extreme forms of academic sexual identities say that, we can be transhuman, we're not human, we are, we can, there are different combinations of human machine, human animal, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, I'm talking about the most parodic exaggerations, but during the 60s and 70s, sexual liberation, I think, became a question of another professional managerial class managed, rationalized set of activities where the PM.
Right. Now, here she said that it became the sexual revolution, again, was created by liberals, white liberals, particularly those within the CIA, the U.S. government, and also corporations, as a way of marketing products to women in particular, right? Selling them vacation, romance novel, all these other things. There's a book I have by I forgot her name, but she worked for Cosmopolitan, and she talks about how they would lie to women. They would create these sort of fantasy stories and make them to be like, this is real. You know what I'm saying? And women bought into it, and not also that, but they were also selling vacations. Take a trip to this country and meet your Rico Suave, and that sort of thing, and the romance novel and all this other stuff, giving these women this fantasy mindset, right? So what do you begin to see? You begin to see a lot of single women or women in groups going on trips, having sex with men that they don't even know, and so forth. Going on cruise and having sex with men, and usually white men, right? Even black women who would go on these cruises, they would meet these white men on cruise ships or on vacation, you know, and those men are there for looking for a good time, and those men are there because they understand that it's easy for them to bed a black woman, right? Because if they understand the mindset of black women and how they see white men as their savior, because Jesus Christ is their savior, and the image of Jesus Christ in the minds of black women are, and black men too, but they're not sleeping with black men, they're sleeping with, unless they're homosexual, but sleeping with black women. Okay, and this guy just did it was a racist guy on YouTube. He just did a video. He says, "Look how easy it is to sleep with black women," and he's talking about all this racist stuff, and you'd be surprised how many black women respond. And he's like, "See, I told you." But that's what has been going on, right? So again, you talk about the hypersexual activities, and you look within the black culture, particularly within young black women today, within the past 2 decades, which they had went uh, um, full blast in terms of the cognitive warfare and the manipulation of black women. With the twerking, the hypersexuality, the I can sleep with 100 men. If a man can do it, why can't I? That sort of thing, right? Not understanding the repercussion, not only the societal repercussion, but the psychological as well as biological, and the sexual repercussion as well. All right, so they tend to ignore all of that. But this is planned. This is planned. All right, nothing happens by accident. Okay, not particularly when it comes to black people as a group. When things happen, it is as planned. Okay.
You believe that you could read books and then have the best sex ever. And that fulfillment, sexual fulfillment, as it comes from the Enlightenment, comes from this kind of sexual liberation. The fact of the matter is that working class people, normal people, what people on the internet call trad people.
Now, what she said about the sexual fulfillment, again, you look at social media, you look at what's being pushed on social media, particularly Instagram, YouTube, particularly involving one group of people, right? Particularly the women, and you see them again doing things, in a hypersexual way. Even within the music is more vulgar now than any time else. Even when black men were doing music, talk about girls with big butts, what have you. At least it had a more of a, yeah, I should say, not as extreme as how the women are doing it today. Because now the women are talking about sleeping with other women, having threesome orgies, getting their booty licked and all this stuff. And, I see a chick over there, I think I might do her and then do her man, that sort of thing. Right? Male rappers don't say, "Oh, look at that woman over here. I think I'm going to do her and her man." They don't. Male rappers never did that. They never talked about that stuff. But you see these female rappers do like that, and why? Because they have brought the stripper culture into mainstream. They have brought the porn culture, the porn industry, the mindset of the porn in to the mainstream. So you see them talk about, oh, well, I got to spit on it, I got to do all of this and stuff like that, and that comes from porn. And more women watch porn than men, even though they say more men watch more porn than women. No, it's the other way around. Again, you got to understand the perception that is being given to us, that is off of the perception that they want us to have, right? Which is lies, manipulation. Meanwhile, they are creating within women this Jezebel mindset, particularly within black women, because the white supremacists will always label you as a person of color or a black person who they think that you are, and then they're going to turn you into that. So even when you're not, and if you're not aware, they'll turn you into exactly who they say you are. Okay? And so that's something that we have to understand and take into serious consideration. Because when I'm on Facebook, I'm not on Instagram, but when I scroll through my Facebook timeline, there's all these women, and they always either they're showing their ass, they're in lingerie, they're twerking, they're doing all of this stuff, right? They're having some of the most vulgar, provocative conversations, right? And it's the women, not the men. It's the women. Okay, so it's important that we understand what's going on. And even though here she's talking more in general, but from what I see, how I research things, how I, when I look at things, I observe things, it is more so happening within the black working class, particularly black female working class, and the poor, right?
Traditional people, but traditional ideas of partnership and family include a notion of sacrifice and honor. And this is out of the picture for the counterculturalists and the hippies.
Okay. Family, right? Self-sacrifice, family sacrifice, loyalty, commitment. These are all these things that which group of women today you see are not exhibiting those traits? Family, loyalty, commitment, sacrifice. If you just think about it, okay? I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna let you think about it. Think about it, just by your observation. Think about it.
everything is just about fulfillment. And you can see its parodic and elaboration in a figure like Elon Musk, because and all the billionaire oligarchs who are moving from wife 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because there's something about like sexual fulfillment for them that is made available through power.
Right? Exactly. Exactly. And that's just the billionaire class. Now, when you look at, and again, this is as a black person, black man speaking, how the false perception of power given to black women over black men, you see those same, uh, you know, um, hypersexual traits within the black female, right? I should say the Negropean females, right? Those same types of traits, okay? Except they're not in the billionaire class, right? And they're not men. But their mindset, how they're conditioned, is to think like men, to behave like men when it comes to the sexual nature of men, is to have those women behave in the same way and believe that they can do the exact thing that men can do, except they can't. Well, they can, except that men can't get pregnant, but they can get pregnant. Okay? That's the difference. All right? And then on top of that, being pregnant, women in general, as the female species, they go through a whole host of emotions. Their body change. Their certain they produce more certain chemicals, particularly in the brain, right? That can lead to what they call postnatal depression and stuff like that. So they go through this ups and downs, right? Men don't go through that. Men may go through it when their woman is pregnant or their wife is pregnant. They do exhibit some form of stressor, right? And so that is something that, again, where as the woman, it totally changes her. Okay? Totally changes her. So women believe that they can just sleep with as many men as possible. This is why sometimes you see a woman who don't know who their child father is, they'll test 3 and 4 different men, and those men are not the father. And you're saying to yourself, well, damn, how many women is she sleeping? How many men is she sleeping with at the same time? Right? Because she don't even know who the father is. So understand that mindset and where it's coming from. And a lot of us as parents, including our parents, right, have no clue. We're ignorant to the fact. And this is why I say that if we have to operate on a more conscious level, and I tell this to my children all the time, you have to start to think. Stop, you're going to operate on your subconscious programming because it is more powerful than we as your parents. But if we instill a conscious mindset within your mind, okay, your subconscious programming for self-hatred, self-destruction will be defeated. All right? So that's what we have to do. Okay? But we're not doing that. We are not doing that. And those of us that are trying to do it, there are those who understand we're trying to do it and are pushing back. Like I tell my son all the time, my children, be careful of who you interact with. Watch what they do. Don't just listen to what they say. If they have good intention towards you, you're going to see it. Whether good or bad, you're going to see it. If you're hanging around them and you're experiencing negative outcomes, stop hanging around them. Leave them alone. Okay? Go by what they do. Go by, is your life improving by having these people around you? Or is it toxic? Is it destructive? And if, again, we have to teach our children to stop believing in what people say and know what they do. Because this believing shit, it will get us, it continues to get us into trouble. Okay? Instead of knowing, we just want to believe. So, I just wanted to just give you guys an example of how these wealthy people, how they're the ones that's shaping our lives. They're the one that is pushing us in a direction that they want us to go in. So we want to think that, we have control of our own lives. No, we don't. No, we don't. Because you know why? We're not conscious enough. Right? We're not we don't have a critical thinking mind. We want to be led, all right? And we will accept being led by bad leaders, okay, who is of the same religious belief as us, instead of being led by good leaders who may not be religious or may not be of a different religion, right? As long as they're not perpetuating their religion on you in a way to try to convert you in their religion, I don't see why you can't accept their leadership, particularly in the political arena, where they know that there is a separation between church and state, and they don't bring their religious ideology into their policies, right? People should be voting for more centered-minded people, but not today. Today, people are voting for the extreme left and the extreme right, and when that happens, that will lead to a breakdown in society, right? Because people cannot compromise. People, it's either going to be their way or the highway, and that's going to lead to a serious breakdown in communication, a serious breakdown within the society, and eventually the society will collapse. All right. So that being said, I'll talk to you guys on the next video.